Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something I think almost everyone learning English has felt. At that moment you're talking and suddenly, nothing. Your mind just blanks. You
Right.
freeze.
Yeah. It's that awful split second, right? Or sometimes it feels much longer where your thoughts and the words just won't connect in English. Like the gears just
Yeah.
grind to a halt.
Exactly. And it pops up in the most normal situations, doesn't it? Maybe you're just introducing yourself or, trying to ask something simple.
Or ordering coffee, something
It's
you've
me.
maybe done loads of times.
Right, or like you're in a shop trying to ask where something is.
hmm Or maybe in class, the teacher asks something, you actually know it, but poof, gone. That invisible pause button gets hit.
And look, the main thing we want you to take away right at the start is this. It's totally normal. If this happens to you, it really doesn't mean you're bad at English.
No, not at all. It's more about the complex stuff your brain's doing, trying to link your ideas to the right English words and, how to put them together.
That's such a crucial point. Freezing isn't like a grade for your English level. It's just a temporary hiccup. It shows your brain is actually working really hard.
Yeah, working hard to bridge that gap, between what you think in your own language and how to say it out loud in English.
And what's really interesting, I think, is that even people who are, really fluent, they sometimes freeze too.
Oh, for sure. Maybe if they're super tired or
Yeah.
stressed out.
Or just in a totally new situation they weren't expecting.
Exactly. Comfort zones matter. Mental energy matters. When you're stretched thin or it's not automatic for you yet, even advanced speakers can, lose their train of thought for a second, find themselves grasping for a word.
So our mission today for this deep dive is to really uh, get under the skin of this whole freezing thing. We want to figure out why it happens.
Yeah.
And then the important part, find some really practical ways to handle it better when it does.
Mm.
So, okay, let's unpack it. What are the big reasons we freeze up?
Well, like you said, it's often not just one thing. Usually a few factors pile up. But a huge one, definitely fear. Fear of making mistakes.
Ah, yes. That worry about using the wrong word or messing up the grammar.
Or just sounding
Yeah.
awkward or
Yeah.
silly. Yeah.
And that fear can be incredibly strong, can it? Especially if you've maybe been corrected really sharply before or...
Or someone laughed. That's the worst.
Right. Those moments can build up a real mental wall.
Yeah, they really can. And if you think about how our brains work, those bad experiences can actually sort of train your brain to link speaking English with feeling bad.
Huh. So it's like a defense mechanism.
Kind of, yeah, like a self-preservation thing kicks in. Silence feels safer than potentially feeling bad. Again, your brain's basically thinking, hey, if I keep quiet, I can't mess up.
Okay, that makes sense. What else? Another common one must be just not having the words, right? Or not being sure how to build the sentence.
Definitely. You know exactly what you want to say in your first language, but the English words aren't right there on the tip of your tongue. Or you're not sure about the order. Subject, verb, object, all that jazz.
Yeah, the structure.
And what's going on there is fascinating. Your brain is like frantically searching its internal dictionary, trying to find the English match for your thought.
Hmm.
And then figuring out the English grammar rules, it takes effort. And while your brain's doing all that heavy lifting, your mouth is just waiting.
Which leads right into the next point, I guess. Processing time.
Exactly. Learning a language just takes a lot of brain power. That whole process, translating in your head, grabbing the right phrase, remembering rules, it takes time. It slows things down a bit.
But it's not about being slow as a person.
No, not at all. It's just your brain tackling a really complex job. It's a sign, it's engaged, working hard, not a sign of weakness.
That's a really good way to reframe it. Okay, what else contributes? Confidence must play a role. Or lack of it.
Oh, huge. That negative self-talk we sometimes do. Ugh, my English is terrible, or why would they want to listen to me, or what if they just don't understand me at all?
Yeah, those thoughts can be so undermining.
They really can. It sets you up to freeze. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Sure.
You expect it to go badly, so you get more anxious.
Which makes you more likely to freeze.
Exactly. But the thing about confidence is you don't need it before you start speaking. It actually builds as you speak, even with the mistakes, especially with the mistakes sometimes.
You're right, practice builds it. Okay, another big trigger of social situations, the pressure.
Definitely. Talking to a teacher or maybe someone you see as a native speaker or just being in a more formal setting, bam, nerves kick in.
It feels like you're being watched, judged.
Yeah. And that feeling activates your stress response. Your brain shifts focus from just communicating to worrying about how you're coming across. And that extra load, it can easily make your mind go blank.
And one last thing, maybe cultural differences, or just not being sure if what you're saying is, appropriate.
Good point.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's not just the words, but the how. Is this the right tone? Is this how people ask this here? Like even a simple, how are you, can feel different in different places.
True. So that uncertainty about the social side, the politeness rules, adds another layer of hesitation.
Precisely. It's another thing your brain is trying to juggle, worrying about maybe causing offense unintentionally.
Hmm.
That can definitely make you pause or freeze.
Okay, so those are some big reasons why. But let's dig a bit deeper now. What's actually happening inside our heads? In the brain, I mean. It's not purely a language thing, is it?
No,
No.
not at all. It ties right back to our basic survival instincts, actually. You know, the fight, flight, or freeze response?
The stress response.
Well, when we feel under pressure or perceive something as a threat, even a social threat, our brain can trigger that response.
So wait, even though speaking English isn't like being chased by a tiger,
Right.
our brain can still see the fear of making mistakes or being judged as a kind of threat.
Exactly. Think about it from an evolutionary perspective. Being judged negatively by your group or being excluded, that was a threat to survival historically.
Oh, okay.
So even now, the anxiety around speaking a new language, especially when you feel evaluated, can register in the brain as a similar kind of social danger.
And when that happens, the thinking part of the brain kind of shuts down a bit.
Pretty much, yeah. The rational part, the prefrontal cortex, that's your control center for planning speech, thinking clearly gets less blood flow, less activity.
And the emotional parts take over.
More or less. Activity ramps up in areas like the limbic system, which handles emotions like fear and anxiety. So physiologically, it becomes harder to access words and form sentences. You might even feel physical stuff, right? Heart racing, palms sweating.
Yeah, definitely felt that.
Those are signs that stress response is in full swing.
But it's crucial to get that this is an automatic, natural reaction. It's not you consciously choosing to freeze. It's not your fault.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cannot stress that enough. It's involuntary. Your brain perceives pressure, and this is one way it reacts. It's not about intelligence or effort.
But the good news is brains can change, right? Neuroplasticity.
That's the encouraging part. Yes, our brains are adaptable.
Yeah.
With the right approach, with practice, you can actually start to train your brain to feel safer, less threatened when you speak English.
You can build new pathways, basically.
Exactly. More positive associations, gradually dialing down that freeze response.
Okay, so to make this super concrete for everyone listening, let's think about some real-life examples. Situations where this freezing thing really happens. I bet some of these will sound familiar.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, imagine a student in class. They studied, they know the answer. Teacher calls on them.
Yeah.
And nothing. Mind's blank. Heart pounds. Maybe they just mumble, I don't know, even though they do.
Yeah, or picture someone at a coffee shop. Maybe they even practice their order in their head. I'd like a medium latte with oat milk. But then they get to the counter, the barista's waiting, maybe there's a queue, and the words just evaporate. They end up just pointing or saying, coffee.
So common. Or job interviews. Or even just meeting a native speaker socially for the first time. You might start, okay, say hello,
Mm-hmm.
but then they ask a follow-up question, something more detailed, and suddenly that self-doubt hits. Am I making sense? Is my accent okay? And boom, mental block.
And I hear this one a lot too. Being in a group chat, you understand everything people are saying. You even have things you want to add,
Right, opinions, ideas.
but you just stay silent. That fear of interrupting or saying it wrong or just feeling awkward speaking up, it makes you freeze instead of joining in.
And the key thing with all these scenarios is just how normal they are. Countless learners go through this exact stuff. Freezing like that isn't some deep flaw in your English. It's just the things we've been talking about playing out in real life.
Just knowing other people experience it helps, I think. Take some of the pressure off yourself.
Definitely. It normalizes it.
Yeah.
Helps reduce that feeling of what's wrong with me.
Okay, so it happens. But how does frequently freezing actually affect your learning? Your overall progress in English? It can't be just a momentary blip, can it?
No, it can have a real knock-on effect. The biggest one is probably avoidance. If freezing happens a lot when you try to speak.
You start avoiding speaking situations.
Exactly. Maybe subconsciously at first, then maybe more deliberately, you shy away from chances to practice.
And that creates a nasty cycle, right? No practice means skills don't improve.
Which lowers your confidence even more.
Which makes you even more likely to freeze next time. Ugh.
Precisely. It's this loop. Anxiety, avoidance, stagnation. And it can really hammer your motivation, too. You start thinking, maybe I'm just not cut out for this, or I'll never be fluent.
Yeah, that negative thinking really makes the whole learning process feel harder, less fun.
It does.
Yeah.
But, and this is important, you can try to reframe it. Think
Mm.
of freezing not as failure, but as a sign you're actually pushing yourself.
Oh.
Well, it usually happens when you step outside your comfort zone, right? And that edge, just beyond what feels easy, that's where the real learning happens.
Okay, I like that. So freezing is like a little flag saying, hey, you're stretching yourself here. This is growth territory.
Exactly. It's a signal you're challenging your current limits. And if you see it that way and use the right strategies, you can learn to push through that feeling instead of being stopped by it.
Right. Which brings us perfectly to the practical stuff. What can you actually do about it? Let's get into some solid, actionable tips.
Okay, first one, and it sounds simple, but it's powerful. Consciously slow down when you speak.
Because when we're nervous, we tend to speed up.
Totally. You rush, your brain gets overwhelmed trying to keep up, find words, form sentences, and that overwhelm can trigger the freeze.
So taking a breath, deliberately speaking a bit slower, it gives your brain time to catch up.
Exactly. More processing time. Plus, interestingly, speaking a bit more deliberately often makes you sound more confident and clear, even if you don't feel it inside.
That's a good bonus. It fits more naturally into conversation too, right? People pause.
Absolutely. Native speakers vary their pace all the time, so slow down, use pauses. It's normal.
Okay, tip 2.
Practice speaking out loud. Every day, even if it's just you.
Like reading a book out loud or repeating phrases.
Yeah, or just talking to yourself about your day in English. The goal is to make the physical act of producing English sounds feel more automatic, less of a conscious effort.
Building that muscle memory for your mouth and brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get used to the feeling, the rhythm. And don't worry about mistakes when you're practicing alone. They're part of it. Consistency is the real key here. Just doing it regularly.
Good one. Tip 3.
Create little mental scripts for common situations.
Like pre-planning, what you might say.
Yeah. If you know you often freeze when ordering coffee, think through the phrases beforehand. Hi, could I please have, yes, regular milk is fine. That's all. Thank you.
So you're not trying to invent everything on the spot under pressure.
Right. It reduces the mental load in that moment. Having a few go-to phrases ready for introductions or asking directions or whatever trips you up, it can be a real confidence booster.
Makes sense. Okay, 4th tip.
Address the anxiety directly. Practice relaxation techniques.
Like deep breathing, meditation.
Yeah, or even visualization, picturing yourself speaking calmly and confidently. The idea is calm body, calmer mind.
So you practice these regularly, not just when you're stressed.
Ideally, yes. So they become more automatic. When you feel that freeze starting, you can consciously use your breathing, for example, to help regulate that stress response and stay clear-headed.
Okay, tip 5.
Get comfortable with pausing. It is totally okay to pause when you speak.
We kind of touched on this with slowing down, but it's worth saying on its own. You don't have to fill every silence.
Not at all. Pauses are natural. They give you time to think, find a word, structure your next thought. A thoughtful pause is way better than rushing into a jumbled sentence or just freezing completely.
Absolutely. Okay, number 6.
Watch your self-talk. Actively use positive self-talk.
So when you feel that freeze coming on, instead of thinking, oh no, here I go again.
Try consciously thinking something like, okay, take a breath, I can do this. Or, it's okay if I make a mistake, I'm learning.
Countering the negative script.
Exactly. Your internal monologue is powerful. If you constantly tell yourself you freeze, you reinforce it. Shifting to more encouraging self-statements builds confidence and resilience.
And the final tip, number 7.
Embrace the whole thing as a process. Overcoming freezing isn't instant. It's a journey.
So celebrate the small wins.
Yes, definitely. Acknowledge when you manage to say a sentence without freezing, or join a conversation briefly. Those little victories add up. Focus on your progress, however small, not on perfection or the moments you stumble.
That's really important advice. Focus on progress. Okay, we've got these great tips. How about we try a quick role play, just to see some of them in action?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, let's do the coffee shop scene. I'll be the customer, trying to use pauses and maybe speak a bit slower. You be the barista.
Okay, I'm ready. Clears throat slightly. Morning, what can I get for you?
Takes a small breath. Hi. Yes, could I get a... Pause it briefly. A cappuccino, please.
Speaks clearly, slightly slower. Okay, 1 cappuccino. And what kind of milk would you like with that?
Regular milk is fine. Thanks.
Nods. Sure thing.
Wow.
Will there be anything else for you today?
Looks around briefly. Hmm. No, I think that's everything. Thank you.
Great. That'll be ready for you in just a moment over there.
Okay. How did that feel? I consciously put in those little pauses, tried not to rush. It felt less frantic than it sometimes can.
Yeah, it flowed nicely. And see, even if you had stumbled a bit more or had a slightly longer pause, the key is just to take that breath and keep going. Don't let a small hesitation derail the whole thing.
Right. It's okay if it's not perfect.
Exactly. And we really encourage you listening to try this. Practice little scenarios like that, maybe even just by yourself at first.
Good idea. So, as we start to wrap up this deep dive, maybe take a moment now, just for yourself, to think about your experiences with freezing in English.
Yeah, remember those times your mind went blank? As we've talked about, it's so normal. It's a reaction to stress, to the challenge of using a new language.
And please, remember this. Every single time you face that feeling and push through it anyway, even just getting one word out, you are making progress.
You really are. You're building resilience. Each time makes the next time feel just a tiny bit less scary.
So be kind to yourself in this process. Be patient and really notice and celebrate those small wins.
Successfully asking that question.
Yeah.
Joining in that chat for a minute, understanding something new. They all count. They build on each other.
And crucially, know you're not alone in this. Honestly, pretty much every single person learning English hits these bumps.
It's part of the journey.
Oh.
But by consciously using the kinds of tips we discussed, slowing down, practicing, using scripts, relaxing, positive self-talk, accepting pauses.
You can actively work on navigating those moments better. You can keep moving forward towards feeling more comfortable and fluent.
So the big takeaway as we finish up, freezing happens. It's part of learning. It's not the end of the road.
Not at all. Keep putting in that consistent effort. Keep opening your mouth and practicing. And you absolutely will see improvement. You'll get there. So please go out there and keep speaking English.
Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope this chat gave you some useful insights and some practical tools you can start using right away.
Thanks for tuning in to the deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.